Because you're so early in the journey, the best piece of advice I'll give you is buckle up.
You said you went through a divorce.
Yep.
Yeah. So what was one of the strategies, I guess? Or
look, I think one of the biggest wins is just focusing on the relationship with my ex-wife Kristen. I think 'cause sometimes when people think break up, they kind of see it as the end point of a relationship. But when you've got kids involved, you just can't look at it that way. I put an awful amount of time into making sure that the relationship with Kristen and Noah's mum, is quality. And my focus now is on how we become best friends for life.
Sure.
Because the better the quality of the relationship that we have, the better the role models we become for the better relationship we have with our partner, even if we're not together. We're role models, and our kids will model and adapt and adopt the behaviours that we show them, and we become the blueprint for their relationships. And if they see when people break up, they become enemies, that's not a great relationship blueprint for kids to have. I just really focused on making sure that there's a lot of love in the house. Yeah. You just focus on the prize, which is the kids. Yeah. I think some of the most important decisions that we make, if they don't move us in some way, then they may not be the best decisions. Like I think nerves, fear, anticipation, they're very healthy feelings as long as we know how to regulate that in a way that doesn't. Because sometimes when we feel nervous, we take it as an indication, oh shit, I'm doing something wrong, rather than realising, no, you're just stepping out of your comfort zone, which is good, and that's an important part of growth.
Sales for the sake of sales is a bad business model. Is it fair to say when you're trying to inspire others as well, that's also a bit of a bad model?
Not at all. Like to me, it all comes down to the intent. Like intent counts more than technique.
Right.
You know what I mean? If your intent is just to turn someone into a transaction, it's not necessarily the most holistic intent. Like if your intent is to serve someone through the process of helping them by selling your services, then you've got to build a relationship with them first to increase the probability of that transaction taking place, in an ethical and moral way, versus just going in and trying to sell them something and hoping that it's going to do the job. One of the ways that you can ensure that the product or the service meets the needs of the individual you're talking to is actually build a relationship with them, get to know them, so that you start to understand what their problems are, what their needs are, what their values are, to the point where confidently the solution you're offering them is actually going to help them versus, well, I just want to make a sale. Business is business. Don't think of yourself as different just because you're in dance. It's no different to being, electrician or accountant. It's all about being visible and being visible to the right people and having the right proposition to get people in there and maintaining the relationship so that you've got a good business ongoing. Yeah. Not just every now and then.
How do you start up an asset-rich company without the cash flow?
I think that's an oxymoron. How do you start up? Yeah. You can't.
So that's generating that income.
Well, in order to build assets, you need cash flow.
Yeah.
In order to build cash flow, strong cash flow. Ideally, you want to be, you can build cash flow from a job, but it's going to be fixed income.
Yeah.
Whereas in a business, you can create a variable income based on your ability to market and generate leads.
Yeah.
So, I'd be. How old are you?
27.
Don't even worry about assets right now. Just focus on a business that produces cash flow.
Yeah, I've got a few ideas.
Do you recommend using hashtags on Facebook?
Yes, but no more than 2 hashtags. Any more than 2 hashtags, your reach will plummet.
Okay. And do you find that people actually engage in Facebook with hashtags, or is it just...
They don't so much engage with hashtags. All it does is it supports the distribution for the algorithm. So Facebook's algorithms are quite advanced. They're very sophisticated. But what I find with Facebook is you want to have one core relevant and one related hashtag. So say, for example, you do boots. So you might go, the core hashtag might be handmade boots, and then the related hashtag might be, winter boots, as an example. So that you've got one core and then one related. So something that will help for mainline distribution and something that will kind of bring some other people in as well. Hey man, what's your name?
Alex, nice to meet you.
You too, bro.
Just a quick question, how would you manage being tired and getting fed up and stuff? I can see you're fit and stuff, so I wonder how you'd manage your energy and being
by staying healthy.
Shit like that.
I intermittent fast, so I only eat between a 6-hour window every day. I train at least 3-4 times a week.
So you would say that's very important?
Oh man, as I was just saying to the lady before, you can't manage time, but you can manage energy, and you've got to look at doing the things that are going to optimize your energy, because otherwise you don't want to do shit.
Yeah, that's what I've been thinking.
Yeah. And so, healthy body, healthy mind. You know, I meditate, twice a day. I eat very, very healthy, and at least once or twice a week. Man, I eat like fucking shit. Like I eat anything.
No, that's what I started doing.
But the majority of the stuff that I eat, is pretty clean, pretty healthy, and I just keep the body clean, the body healthy, and the mind, functioning fast. Because you're so early in the journey, the best piece of advice I'll give you is buckle up, because it's going to take time. Because sometimes people get into business and they think it's going to happen straight away. And I say to people, give it 5 years before you even, start to dream of big, and it could happen. It could take off in 12 months. Do you know what I mean? But you've got to give yourself the psychological edge by going, okay, this is going to take at least 5 years to get some traction. And that way, if it happens sooner, great. But if you're going, I'm going to crush it to the next 6 to 12 months, and it doesn't, it can become quite debilitating from a motivation perspective. So you've got to keep it realistic, and patience is it's a game of patience. And the person who's in it's like the tortoise and the hare, right? The tortoise will win every time because he takes it slow, and slow is fast, especially where you are right now. Like, move quickly, but think slowly. Think slowly about what it is that you want to do, but then move quickly. Does that make sense? Because if you think too fast, you'll miss things and make mistakes. So the best piece of advice is, buckle up, because it's going to take a little bit of time. Have the patience. And the second piece of advice is just make sure that you're focusing on the things that you love. Focus on your strengths, and ensure that you're deploying your strengths in a way they're going to benefit the business commercially.